is Elio Solis autism-coded? Look, not every character or person who's quirky or socially awkward is autistic. But Elio totally is. I mean, the first 15 minutes of the film make it abundantly clear that Elio is an undiagnosed child on the autism spectrum, something I have ample experience living. Elio developed an obsessive interest with alien life after learning about Voyager and its mission to prove that we are not alone. And loneliness is basically all that Elio feels after losing his parents, because they were the only people on Earth who really understood him. No one else sees the world the same way he does, or even attempts to. And that's what causes him to self-isolate and becomes hyperfixated on being abducted by aliens.
I need to meet aliens.
Why?
Because there's 500 million habitable planets out there, and one of them's gotta want me. Because obviously you don't.
It is such a common experience for neurodivergent children to believe that they are on the wrong planet, which is why this scene made me tear up when I first saw it. Elio's aunt-turned-guardian Olga has a difficult time understanding him, in part because she has no parenting experience, but also because Elio behaves differently from other kids. When Elio says,
"You're not my family,"
she's not saying that to hurt her, but just because she doesn't understand him the way that his parents did. Now, much of this behavior could be seen as a trauma response or coping mechanism following the loss of his parents, but there are so many other specific aspects that make it obvious that Elio is on the spectrum. Elio creates his own language, Elioese, that he says only his parents do, and Olga's unwillingness to play along makes him feel unwanted or unloved. He's so fixated on contacting aliens that he tricks Bryce into giving him his hand radio, disregarding how this might make Bryce feel because Elio has difficulty understanding how his actions affect others. When the radio receives the first signal from the aliens, Caleb interrupts Elio's fixation, and the overstimulation of the moment causes him to lash out against him. The scene when Elio meets his clone shows that he lacks self-awareness of his behavior.
Should I change anything, or just stick with the low self-esteem and desperation to belong? What? I'm normal. Just be normal. No weird stuff, okay?
To Elio, he doesn't believe that anything he does is out of the ordinary. It's just everyone else around him who's weird. Literally, the first shot we see of Elio is him hiding from stimuli and stimming with his shoes. But the biggest giveaway of Elio's autism is the parenting book that Olga reads called Parenting Your Spirited Child. And that's a term that's sort of become a euphemism for children who behave differently without explicitly labeling them ADHD or autistic. Oh yeah, and two of the people who worked on the script for Elio are the screenwriters of Luca, which is another Pixar film with a heavily autism-coded child. Now, you can still understand and enjoy Elio and its themes without knowing he's autistic. In fact, neurotypicals may even relate to Elio in some ways. But the reason I think it's important to point this out is because of how many undiagnosed children are going to see themselves in Elio on a deeper level. There's an extra emotional layer that people like me get out of this film because of these character traits of the protagonist. And knowing this helps you appreciate the film more. I saw several reviews saying things like Elio is unlikable, or his loneliness is self-inflicted, or that a child wanting to run away from his problems is a bad message for children. Because, you know, apparently having a character arc is too nuanced of a plot device for adult men on the internet to comprehend. The point is, you can see how Elio's autism drives much of the plot, particularly in the first act, but many viewers are simply just going to see Elio as a kind of weird kid. You know, just like real life.